where there's the Messiah that he's flying around in biplanes with. It's an easy read. It's one of the books I bought most for people. And he says you put your troubled thought in your mind and then you crack the book open and you get the answer.
Oh, I like that. So
that
that
magic
I like
works.
that. So that's one thing I do. I think there's a book in my bag. Let me say it. So what I'll do is I'll sort of clear. And you said put the trouble thought, and I'm going to try it because usually what I do is sort of breathe, empty my mind, like no trouble thought, no nothing, and then I'll open this book as to where it is, and then that'll be what I need. Right?
Right, because you are asking a question, and the trick is receiving the answer, right? So this book I swear by.
Living in the light. And
Shakti,
say it again?
Shakti Gawain.
Is that, can you tell me, how many pages is that book?
Oh, I don't know. Couple hundred.
A couple, oh, that's not so bad, a couple hundred. Small writing.
It has different topics for life and a new outlook, which is what.
Wait, so hold on. Brett is a friend of mine, and he sends me. We text back and forth. We voice text. There's a new message. There's a new vibe of the day. There's a new everything every day. There's something going on. Hello, Instagram, Brett. Can you chime into my Instagram so everyone can see us, please? You can go live with me. Just invite yourself. We are here at Sway live on Amazon, and I am talking to Brett Hammond. He is, to me, he's a creative director of life. He is an artist. He is sober. He's full of knowledge and curiosity and pain and wisdom, and he's one of those. He's one of my tribe. And Lou Goddess is in the house. Brett, say hello to Lou Goddess. She is from Copenhagen, and she is with us. I am going to see. Did you just? That's not you. Oh yes, that's you. Oh. Wait, there's. Can you do it one more time? Because two people asked. I just need to kind of get you on here because we're live here at Sway. Hello, Lou. I love you. Hold on, guys. We're getting Brett up here because it's a conversation that I don't want to miss. And then we'll go right into it. And you can feel free to pick up that guitar, Brett, and sort of play a little opening while I get settled here. I'd love it. How's your Friday, ladies? I see Krista and Lou and everybody on Instagram. Come over to Sway TV and join the chat. That's where all the good stuff is going to go. Don't feel like I'm ignoring you if I don't talk to you because I am having to be present.
Do I really need to do the Instagram as well because it's not flowing?
It's not? Okay. It's just important because Josh, the people are here, or I could turn it around on you. If you could do it, it would be great. Otherwise, I could sort of do that, and they could hear me. Lou says hi. I love you more, lady. If it's easy, great. If not, we can sort of get going. But you guys, I don't want you to miss out on this conversation. What? There you go. Okay, hold on. There you are. I got you. Now set that down and let's do this. What's up?
It's too much.
Krista says hi. Lou says hi. So we're, I really have this desire to hear you play that guitar if you want to play for a minute. No, you don't want to?
Whatever.
Fine, don't.
First things first, listen, your ADD's out of control. You wanted me to go through the books, the immediate books?
Oh, see? He took me back.
Okay, so some of them get worn out from use. This is one I discovered on a journey from the desert, stopped in a thrift store, and I was like, what am I looking for? And I literally was like, I'm looking for an Oasis, and it was called Oasis. So I walked in.
What?
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
No, I believe it with you.
So I have to turn this down. It's like echoing. So what happened was, this book's called Living, Loving, Learning. Leo Buscaglia.
Can we see it? Can we see it?
Well, it's a little, doodled on, but.
Living, Loving, Learning. Okay, beautiful.
He teaches courses in love, and you would think that's ridiculous, but it's about true intimacy, like really being open and vulnerable and giving, which is like really, really, really what it's about. It's like we've discussed, you and I have discussed it fragmented, and that's what this whole gathering of us tribe members from other places, like everyone's yearning to like give, and when you give it, that's what you get.
Ah, look at that. That was so profound. And you just sort of like let that, when you give it, that's what you get. Not like when you give it, that's what comes back to you. Like literally, when you give it, that's
The
what you
world,
get.
the, the world will reflect back what's up. I mean, I've been thinking about this obviously because I knew we would have this talk and it would go places. It's you think you think people we think these things we're seeing, these things we're translating, we're interpreting
Hmm.
things, but honestly it's like we shoot it out and it comes back. We're little projectors.
And okay, so that's interesting. So we shoot it out, and are we talking about the energy from the thoughts, and that will that literally resonate off of us, not our eyes? Because sometimes I feel like our vision deceives us.
It's tricky, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
layered. I mean, obviously we have filters, conditioning, we have um we have okay, where do we begin this with?
We're
We're all put it. Let me just go. I'm going there.
go
You know,
go in, go in.
knew we would. Okay, we are all source energy, right? We are this energy that goes. All right, I'm having a human experience. I'm diving back in. I've been here before. I'm going in again, and I'm going in, and I'm going to take the roller coaster ride. Buckle up, kids. Like, I'm going to have the highs and lows. I'm going to know the darkness so I can know the light. Everything we've always discussed when we, as friends, mirror back and forth and balance each other, right? So it's it's hard to pace this because I'm
Don't
like,
even, just go. You know I love that. Just seriously dive in, and people will either stick, they'll pick up. Go go.
okay, so this is the deal. The mind is better off being observed and witnessed. If I let my thoughts of loss or fear or you know if I buy into that, if I hold on to if I hold on to a moment, then the moment's constricted. That's not my jam. That's not my true heart. My true heart's like, hey, what do you need? Well, I could just
So,
like
I love this. Okay, so Jared's in the house. We love you, Jared. Johnny Kong's in the house. Josh Watson, I see you there. Don't you guys think I'm forgetting about you? I just am. Brett and I both have this creative energy that he either has to keep me grounded or I'm gonna have to pull him back in. But as you're speaking on this topic, I've witnessed as your friend you in your human form, and at times, and we're honest here, it's and like me, it's ugly, right? Like it's. I say ugly carefully. Hold on. It's intense. It's human. It's very human. So depending where I'm at, and if I'm sort of like pulled back, and you are very human, which is our experience. So there are times where I pull back and he's there, and whoa, I kind of like, okay, but remember, Eden, right? Remember that we're all having this human experience. But if I'm sort of more in spirit or whatever that energy is, then maybe we're not. I see a version of you from there that I can't connect to. When I come back down here and when I'm human with you and we can kind of mesh all that together, and this is in the sense of, hold on, I'm getting to it, then it's not so off-putting, right? But when you pull out and you are all of it in your magical self and creating and loving from this unconditional place and not holding and needing and wanting, and again, we all do that, and I pull out at the same time, then that's where like the sky opens up, right? At least that's from my experience.
right. It's obviously semantics, phrasing.
The words can deceive you too, Brett.
No, I'm saying all of that. It's we're always trying to translate and emanate our discoveries. At least I know you and I have that in common. It's like the passion of like, I got a gem. I got a gem. So part of what I'm doing, because I had opened a couple galleries in LA, and it was work, and it was wear many hats, and I could stand there and either tell them I was the artist or not. I learned a lot, and I had to make the rent, and it was no joke. And it was like, all right, boom, boom, boom. You pick up your hustle. Daily. This goes back to my daily thing. You wake up, you go around the year with Emmett Fox. Bring it. He translates biblical teachings. For what it's worth, people have resistance to it. I've had resistance to it. Cool. And then there's this guy.
Yeah, one of my dad's favorites.
Right. So in that, and I'm like, where's the gem in this? Because it's kind of a wicked tale, and but which is fine. Life has that. Life is that. I mean, forensic files, for instance, So,
Mm.
and this is just a line from it that I cracked. I did that thing. I'm like, what is it about this book that is a rereadable trip? And he says, I was listening. I could hear that I was being judged intelligent, but I couldn't quite understand how an ordinary man's good qualities could become crushing accusations against guilty. So,
Yeah, right? You'd have to read. Can you read that one more time?
if we can get something, I won't find
Ah,
out.
well, if you can't. If you
Well,
cl-
listen, I was listening and I could hear that I was being judged intelligent, but I couldn't quite understand how an ordinary man's good qualities could become crushing accusations against a guilty man.
Whew,
That to
that's deep.
well, because he's poetic and it's a translation of French, so I'd rather read the original, but I can't. But I just can't. I can't.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it. You know me, I have to think about it and then it'll come to. But I want to go back to because as I was driving here, because we talk a lot, I was like, and I kind of know ish. Actually, no, I don't. I was like, you know what? I just want to know. One, I want to go back because you have this artwork behind you. I've known you for maybe 8 years, but prior to that, you have this sobriety story. You have all this life, and I just want to get some of that so everyone's knowledgeable about you. And then I want to kind of tap into a day in the life of you. I do. I just want to.
All right, go.
Tell me, like, first of all, how long have you been sober?
22 years.
22 years. And what brought you to your knees, buddy?
A blonde. I was in my late 20s and I was doing great things with friends. We had a clothing company in Santa Barbara. They had invited me down. I was completing college in San Jose and I was working in skateboarding up there. I was, oh my God, when I think about that, how did I do it? I would get up at 7 in the morning. I would ride my Schwinn bike to a coffee shop for 4 hours by the San Jose courthouse. San Jose is not small. Then I would go, I volunteered at the Boys Club. I tried to create an art program for
Of
the
course.
kids, but they ended up making me like a babysitter. I'm like, I got to go. So then I worked in a skateboard company where we also had a print shop, and then I would go to school 5 hours a day. So it's like, I did what? These 16-hour days, and I wasn't drunk. I was a young drunk. We were, house full of mongoloids. So, can you say mongoloids? So anyway,
You can say
anyway,
that.
I moved to college, and my friends were like, "Get back to Santa Barbara. We need you. The art guy sucks." And I'm like, "Yeah, he sure does. He's there. He's full of air." So they called me in, and my friends, these twin brothers that had done punk rock and surfing and skating and all this stuff, they were doing this thing, this bad band that they had. They watched the shirts go. They go, "Hey, Dad, we can eat lunch." It was a family business. These families like family to me, literally my people. Like lived at their house at one point, that kind of thing. So we're all in it together, and went down, and we just blew it up. We just kept going, 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 going. And we had our hustle, and we had our paper magazine from New York would call and ask us to do an ad, and we'd be like, "You want us? Tell you what, don't charge us. You get us. You can probably get other people who would just hustle, 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 and we get free ads, and we just, we were branding, and so anyway, that was great. And I I didn't know that my stuckness, my sorrow, my projection of my fears, I didn't know that the alcohol intake, which wasn't all the time, it was binges and whatever, but it was reckless, it was self-serving, self-centered. I didn't know that it was what was keeping me stuck until and I was aware. My mom's been sober since like 84 or something, so I was aware. But I've been thinking about this too. Like, there's knowing, like this concept starts in your brain and it kind of works its way back. And there's knowing. And I was like, man, I would catch myself sort of bickering with somebody that I cared about and be like, God, why did I say that? And I was just kind of, bah! And I was blindly mimicking the household I grew up in, the generic
Just the program.
origin stuff. And so when I finally surrendered, it was like, oh no, what have I done?
Hmm.
I walked away from love because it was terrifying to be vulnerable and what if, and I just was like, and I had this great partner that was a friend and a girlfriend and also worked at the thing, and she was like, what do you want me to do? And I was like, I had this duality. I was like, I'm 26. So what do we know then anyway? But I said, you know, if I was your friend, I would say, get away from this guy because he doesn't know what he's doing. You know, but if somebody loves you, I'm like, wait, I don't know. And I was just kind of, I moved out of a house into a band room. I was like, this. So my demise was self-imposed, and I didn't know any of I didn't know any of this.
Were you
I,
doing your art at this time?
yeah. I was doing ad layout. I was doing
Oh,
video
you,
box.
but I mean the art behind you, were you there yet?
No, that took a while
Okay.
because I stayed in graphics and ended up in skateboarding. Obviously, that was just part of the culture. I would do album covers and then merch lines and then I ended up touring because I didn't have a job.
So
So
you'd go on tour with, like, a main example.
God, I tried to make a list for my friend. Who did you tour with? And I was all. So I tried to make a list, and it was all okay. Black Eyed Peas, Ice T, Eminem, Suicidal Tendencies, Blink-182. 7 seconds. I was trying to like, and I made this. It was huge. Like really, like I mean, epic, surreal. I'm from a small town, Sonoma, North. We're from San Francisco and Sonoma. So for me, I'm like, how did I'm standing in a circle after Ice T and I ran over to watch Suicidal play, and was just like, yes, this thing's over, and I'm standing in a circle, and it's me, it's Ice T, me, Eminem, Shawnee Sean, who I'm trying to introduce you to, Mark Live, and Ice T's talking about House of Pain, we know Danny, right?
Yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah.
talking and how back then they read everything, and Ice is business all day, honest as it gets, as real as it gets all day. And he's like, this happened and this happened and this happened, and I sent him to his prom, and I was like, is that like poetic license? No, he actually sent not Danny, but I forget the other guy. So he sent the other guy to his prom with girl. He discovered him, broke him, and so I'm sitting there in history, and Eminem was Slim Shady then. He was just breaking through, and Eminem's like, he's listening to The Godfather, basically. And he goes, look, it's never Dre's fault if your album doesn't sell. And I'm like, who am I to sit there and witness? Because I was down with Ice. We hung for 58 days straight, and we did a few things, and made a few stickers and stuff. And it was like, what? And so I thought about this today too, like what you think about shows up. A thought life placed on a higher plane, right? You invite the God conscious in. And what does that mean? I can flinch at that word. I have. I've Joseph Campbell analyzed the origin of, mapped over Greek myth. I've dismantled it intellectually and cheated myself. Or, as we know, we are all sources available to all of us at all times. But what you think about shows up. No, I don't want to get into a neurotic, like, oh my God, I'm broken. I called you out the other day. I said, hey, correct your inner dialogue, man. Soften it. Right? You're not a bad person. You're a person. You're not we're just human. And if I remind you of something as friends, you remind me of something. That's the beauty of like a good, safe connection. You call me out and I go, you're right. So there it is. Like, what you think about shows up. What am I doing with Ice T? And I was listening to Ice T when I was 16. I'm like, of course I'm right next to him. Of course we're like, high five, The funniest thing on that one was I loaned him my power cord to my Mac because we had the same laptop. I was walking by and I go, hey, what's up? I'm like, where's my power cord? And I said it like him, and he's like, I got it. So like that kind of stuff is epic.
I mean, it's.
Black Eyed Peas go boom and become this like notable thing. Fast forward, I don't know, a decade. I see Will in a restaurant. He isn't. Everybody's a fan now. I go, what tour? 99. And he goes, oh, and he taught me this one. This is kind of resonant too. Like he goes, let me tell you what I learned on that tour. We were making, because I love your old stuff. He goes, we were making music for our audience. And that's where we learn to make it for the audience. We'd be rocking it, little punk band, in the van, in the bus, whatever, and they'd walk by and go, "Oh, you guys love our stuff." Like, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like outside of the box. So
Right.
what we do when we create to share a message of humor and love and levity and relate, we relate. When you share that from the chest cavity, from the heart, I mean, we're here to give, man. We're here to give.
I mean, you give so much through your creative space through you. I mean, I guess you are a creative space. And you really you give so much. And when I do look at your art, and go over some of your all your pieces, they're so, like you just said, out of the box, and they have that sense of, there's this dark humor to them, there's this relatable, like, whoa, and there's this comic. um so what in not what, because you just basically said it, but like, what inspires? Is it where you're at the moment? Because I know we said we had a funny haha, I'm like, oh, there's a piece of art for you, and literally within 2 days, less than that, he had the art done, drawn, the saying made. So it's life. I mean, I can't.
It definitely spawns from reality. This one was like, I was in an intense LA situation for quite a while, and I was like, whew, I can breathe. And got this call at 6 in the morning. Here's what you should do. And I was like, oh God, here we go again. Here's what you should do. You should draw this. You should do some astronauts. I'm sending you pictures. I'm like, do you know what time it is here? Like, and I'm just like, oh, this should call. And I thought, you know what? Astronaut? I'm an astronaut that needs some space. And I went, oh, yes, bam. So I was like, you know what? I'll show you astronaut. This is an astronaut that's like, back off. Everybody needs their own autonomy, sense of freedom. We are freedom-seeking beings.
So for what and tell me if I'm wrong, because there's the message in that is very loud and clear, but the moment that you just explained was not necessarily angry, but frustrated man, dealing with the female, that the human energy was like this, and you're like, what? Like, kind of, but the essence of it is, yes, we can sort of do our own dances, and don't come at me with the should, right? The you should.
Don't should all over the place.
That's a good one. Don't should all over me. Hello, Jared, if you're still watching. Brett, why isn't that hoodie in my hand? Do you have an art piece that says don't should all over me? Do you see what happens? This is what happens. This is exactly what happens when we talk. And these things, well, most of our tribe, this is what happens. That's genius.
Can we just in black really quick? That was mind blowing.
Which one? Which part?
It's
Oh.
Look, you were tired, and that was perfect because you couldn't keep a wall up. You were like, bah. Look at human in raw form. Like, everybody's all cheeky, and you're from the world where everyone's like, okay, powder your nose, places everyone, roll sound. And I know a few humans that come from different versions of that. And I've been wanting to talk to you about that. And hey, why not do it live? Like, my message to you is like, look, I'm on the outside watching you going, there's nothing to prove. I was like, dude, your thing that you posted that led me to this is my part of my morning meditation now. Like, I was like, when you're open about, I mean, you're beyond open, you're like, no offense, but I
love you.
I don't want to be stuck in a Honda Civic in the desert with no AC with you in my ear. Wait. Where was I? Rambling.
Because this is what we do. You were on to Marcus and just sort of.
He's epic. He crossed the line. He flipped it. He resonates. He allowed that. Hey man, your voice is good. He allowed that compliment come in and go. All right, then I'll use it. And that's what we're doing. That's what you're doing. And that's what it was. I wanted to tell you, like, you be you. You. Like Muji says, set aside. He doesn't say forget it or resist it. Set aside the idea of self. Set aside the idea, set aside, watch the thought go by like a cloud. You don't lasso a cloud. You don't follow it. You know, you lasso a gray cloud and follow it. Yeah, evil. But you know, like, what a great thing. Like, you be you. You know? Like, and that's not. It's not the, oh, I gotta live. All right. I'm gonna ramble for a second.
It's okay. Feel free, please.
I get carried away. I was thinking of like, because I didn't know anything about your dad. I'm not a hair care guy, you know. But when you sent me something, I was like, oh, all right. And now I understand his drive. And of course, it changes, right? Our motive changes. We've learned to question our motive, right? But the motive changes. Um, it's originally like the life wasn't that great, shipped around, moved around, this and that, and then his calling that his mom saw. And then, so he heard that, he listened to it, he found it, and his drive changed. Like, oh, I got a family, and I can't stand behind a chair. And I know people that do this for a living. You can't stand behind a chair. That if you're not standing, you're not earning. Mm-mm. Money in your sleep, I love that. Put it on the walls. The checks come. It's a great feeling. So, and his drive changed. And then I thought, well, if you're doing this thing that humans do, where you compare, well, here's this great man, and your mom, amazing. My God, I understood you more by watching her be. Wow. Wow. And so there they are, these entities. And maybe since you're the youngest of four, is it? And I'm the baby too, so that's why I throw these tantrums. Right? So maybe you're like, well, competing for attention as the small ones that are vocal as we are, and then comparing yourself to the bar that they live with, and thinking, well, I got to perform, well, I got to do something, and I got to sustain a name, and I got to. And realistically, you didn't start the way he started, so your drive is a little bit more smile for the camera. It's a little bit more. It's softer.
Contrived? Oh, it's
Softer. It's like we have somebody that takes care of that and this and that. And
softer. I like that word.
Softer. There's a little more like
pampering.
Huh?
Pampering.
You're not going to be coming from where he's coming from because your world was different.
Very.
So the message is like, dude, ease up on Eden. You don't have to live up to it. All you have to do, and of course, if you're telling somebody something, talking to yourself, there's always that.
Of course, and I love it. I love that we can do this, and that you're reflecting on what was just a few nights ago, and a really huge. I think for all of us, I was able to sit here and receive it, but it was for all of us, and that was magical.
Marcus brings it out, man.
Whew, like.
His link to Shawnee Sean, I'm like, dude, because he's trying to put out a positive message. He's like turned negativity into power, and he's got a gym, and he's like, and he's a solid character. And I was like, check this out, let me know what you think. And I sent it to you guys. I'm like, he might fit. We don't know.
But do you see how, like, and we were talking about, hi Rosalinda, just want to send out love. She's in the house with us. That together we can. So you're speaking of you know, the energy that we share, and of course everyone who makes this chat go, that shows up to whether it's listen to me or the creative incredible pieces that I bring together, and then, you know, the Marcus and all the people who make this energetic field move, right? Because, like, I can't do any of it alone. I can't create the art that you can. My mind doesn't go to the places you go, but it goes with you to different places and takes you to different places. Or it's kind of like that tribe, that team, where it's so important, because even in the last, I mean, you and I go in and out of these spaces, and so whatever this last space was, like, I couldn't move it without you, know, Jared, and without Marcus, and without a few other intricate people that I couldn't, right? I wouldn't.
That was totally organic. I was done painting. I was sitting on the computer. I flipping through out of pure boredom in Sonoma. I didn't really want to be there. I was just taking care of business. I'm like, okay. And processing some life pauses, and just turned on your thing, and I was like, all right, I'll just listen to this. Well, you know what it was? I had a meeting on, and it sucked, and I was like, I can't. I killed it off. intolerant or whatever it was. I wasn't getting what I should have been bringing. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it that day. So I was like, kill this beast. And somehow your thing popped on, and I listened to a conversation about your dad, and I was like, and that thing.
Oh, right, the podcast.
Yeah, and his English. I love the English phrasing. It's like leg it, or like he said. So your dad says, "Get on it, get on with it." That's a real kind of good old fashioned like, get on with it. Like it's a let go. It's a pick up the hustle, keep flowing. You work out more than I could ever imagine, but it's like move a muscle, move a thought. What am I supposed to?
And you did it. You at that moment did it. So you just explained that morning, that story. So you were checked out of this. You engaged in what called you, which was I happened to be part of. You heard this conversation, that get on with it happened. He then, guys, went to his wherever he creates this art that you see behind him, and sent me, by the time this podcast was over, it was probably an hour and a half, the piece is that you see behind him of my father that says get on with it. And I was like, okay, thank you, you were just listening. And wow, I was at that moment shocked. Obviously I sent it to my brother then sent, I want that. I then said, Brett, you just sold your piece, and so on and so on. It turned to open within like that. You acted on it. Show up and the magic happens. Like you, and those are the people that are in my life right now that I am bringing on this couch to Sway TV and having these conversations for anyone who's listening, because it's people like you, it's people like Jared, it's people like Marcus, it's those ones that where it fits and it happens. And there's no other. I mean, what was your why? What was your intention? What was it? Like, it wasn't like you didn't think, oh, I can send this to her and I'm going to sell it to her brother. Right. I know.
No, I had stuff I was supposed to be doing, but it didn't resonate with my soul. It was like I was aligning with the friend who produces, who used to be part of that clothing company. We had realigned, and he's like, I got a client for you. Do you still do graphics? And I'm like, oh, all right. And he sent it, and I tried it, and I was like, I couldn't. Lagunitas beer. Oops, sorry, I don't
drink.
It's just not my energy. I just watched my brother take himself out. I just watched, I'm not even going to get into that. That momentum has no good end. It removes you from, I could cry talking about it. It takes you from the others. This is what we're here for. We're here to connect. It's a disconnect. And I understand why we disconnect. Seek distraction. Have an enemy. That's what I talked to my Canadian sponsor. Did your counselor say you were stuck? And he goes, yeah. I said, let's remove that from the dialogue. You're 45 days out. You're pen to paper, which is new neural pathway physicality. You're lining it up, and we're just looking at pattern. We're just looking at pattern. Taking a glance. Let's talk about it like this. Your brain's an attic space. And it's cluttered full of things you kept because you thought you were going to use them, or you thought you needed them, or you thought if you locked the door with all these boxes of fear and ego mechanisms to help you survive, the attic space is cluttered and dusty and dirty, and you got to go up there, maybe not alone because it's kind of dark up there. Let's do a trash chute out this little tiny window. Let's start getting rid of that stuff and just let it go. No big deal. Let's turn the music on. Make sure we eat. Let's have some iced tea. Let's get this done. Boom, 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 boom. And now what do you got? He goes, what do you mean? I go, look around the attic space. Tell me what you got. He goes, empty. I go, is it empty or is it open? And the dialogue, internal dialogue, that I always have to have an artistic translation. I have to make it mine. Because if I hear somebody and I parrot it or they parrot it, it's vapid to me. I'm like, really, dude? I don't need your Generica. So I tell him this is what I when I was newer. And I said, now you have a space. Why don't you put some skylights in and let the sunlight of the spirit in?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have creative space. Now you have a creative loft instead of a shed in your head. So I don't know where I was going with that.
No, but I loved it. And you said it was a pivotal word where you had, I missed the mark, but it was more like his brain had all this to protect himself, right? And was it his brain? Was his brain stuck, or he? Because you said he, and I was like, he, right? It was his brain.
This is important, and if you're in a conversation, you're new. You show up. You're new. You're in.
When he says new, guys, those of you that are listening, he's talking about perspective. He's talking about in sobriety. Just some people don't know.
So you've had these habits in life, and they've numbed you out and created ease, but created dis-ease because of imbalance, because you keep doing it. Or now you're polluted, and you're new, and you're raw, and you're vulnerable, and you want to trust somebody that seems stronger, and you're sitting in the room with them. Now, the person with the confidence in the conversation can have influence. It doesn't mean they're actually clear, but they have confidence. So I'm weary of guidance that's not really at depth clear. Because now they have a voice, so they're going to show you and tell you, you can't do that, you can't do this. And it's like, we'll back it up and keep the basics. I'm telling my guy, did your counselor say you were stuck? Because now he's going to hold on to that.
Right, but he's not stuck. His machine's stuck.
No, but not even. I won't even agree with that.
Okay.
He's vulnerable. He's new. He's raw. It's a new path. The numbing agents are gone, so the blood's to the edges. And we don't with life. This, you know how it is. It gets sharp. It's like, oh, I feel everything, and you don't know how to feel because you've got some maturity in the older body, blah blah blah. So if I hold on to stuck, it's like, oh, I just framed it in stuck. I'm holding on. I'm stuck on stuck. Nah. So my point is this. I don't want to talk the whole time. Sorry.
No. It was go on. It was what you were saying.
Maybe you're not stuck. Maybe somebody had influence and said that's not right. So you go, oh, okay, well that's not right because I don't want to mess up and I don't want to. And now you're under the influence.
Right.
You're too new and too young in it to check the source and go, wait a minute, that person's mean. And it takes a while.
Yeah.
And so I said, do you trust your counselor? And he said, yeah. I go, what's the full sentence? I don't want to ride on this too long. He goes, no. He said I wasn't able to go into my past and come up with all these resentments. I said, then they're not present, man. Just get with what you got. You're in a store. You're walking. Take an inventory of yourself.
I love that you just said that.
Keep it simple. Because we're all so sure we're doing it wrong.
Well, when in my first year, I was trying to figure out. I was like, talk to me about this resentment stuff. Like, I don't know how many. Like, I couldn't. People have lists of so many, and I couldn't. Actually, Liz, your ex-girlfriend, was my first sponsor, and I couldn't come up with all. And she was very good friends with my sister, and I couldn't really do this. And I kind of was like. But that's interesting that you say that to him, because I feel like we're all, and people obviously have resentments, but I don't know, I still wonder about that, and maybe we'll get into that conversation one day. But
the inventory, you're walking, you got a little market, you're walking on, and you're like, well, this is old, and I've got milk from 1978, so I can't use that. And you start to go, wait, why am I holding on to all this? And that's the process, I believe, when I translate. Actively look at, well, what am I holding on to? And not look.
I try not to, and I try really exactly just to be present now, because whatever it is, even holding on to. This morning I had, and I didn't share with you, but like my daughter lives going through some stuff, and let's chat. Hold on really quickly. Louise is in the house from Australia. It's me, Tyler. I think he's been on here. Happy graduation, buddy! Yay! It's in an hour. Brett, tell him happy graduation. Such a good kid. Such a good kid. Jared, yes, and Namjin, is that your name? Hello. So I just had to check in, and what?
Who's Bev?
No, who's what?
Where's Bev?
Where's Bev? Mom, I know. Where is my mother? Mom, where are you? Mom's always like in the house. She shows up. She might be at Pilates, thank God. So the creative flow. Let's try to, because you and I, which is such a beautiful thing. I'm so grateful for it. how are we sitting here today talking to one another? I know that that just came from that moment when you got a hold of that's really interesting, because all of a sudden he sent me back an old design of a website that I was building out for myself. And he said, "What do you think about this?" And I was like, "Whoa." What?
Art companies and stuff, and you develop a better eye with a group, conscious. It's going to go in the print ad. It's no joke. The print ad itself costs 10 G's. So you're just like, oh, really? And I'm looking at it going, that's a little dark. And what is the visual message? And
like, whoa. And again, guys, really quick, like, you zoom in, get it all the Brett way, and then you're like, all right, here. I'm like, that was 20 minutes. What just happened? Like, you deliver for yourself. I was on the other end of that for the last, what's going on. And I'm not talking, obviously, the things we go to, and the photo behind you and the meaning behind everything, right? The meaning behind what we're saying, and how we got to sort of this, for lack of, because we are on Sway Amazon, and this hoodie that we're talking about, which is the photo behind you. But there's so much more than that just happening. Your creative talent and your visual, like, to see beyond what's actually there is next level. Like, and then you send that message back, and my intuition goes like, whoa, like, I'm ready. What's going on here? What's the message? And we do this sort of unspoken conversation, but dance with the energies, which, again, when we're really in human form, can get a little like, you've taught me a lot. You've taught me a lot of lessons. Because my brain will go to, everyone's going to react negatively to some of my behavior when I pull back, and rightfully so, right? You would think. But then at times you're like, hey, I'm here, I'm present. Like, take your time, feel better, do what you need to do. And I'm like, oh, why do I always go back on that? What?
No, that's the thing. Like, that's this. This is when you unconditionally love a friend. It's like, hey man, do your thing. Like, we all, like, I watch you do too much. I'm like, hey, all right, it's great that you have energy and hustle. And then just like Jared said, just like Marcus said, like, give yourself permission to relax. And like I called myself out, like, even on my day where I'm not doing anything today, I don't feel like it, I can't sit still. I'm like, man, and it shows me. It's like, okay. And I'm self-driven. I want other things and larger things and more fluidity, and be able to share and help and provide and keep it out, and I'm going to do it, and it'll happen, and I'm psyched. I'm going to work with Carrie, like we've been talking about meeting up and stuff. So, like, it's on. I'm cool with that. But I'm not going to kill myself to do any of it.
Right.
I'm going to let it show up. I'm going to let it align.
That's an interesting question, though. So how much, sorry, I need to give the, so you and I, we tend to want to go and do and create and help and grow and continue, and it's not stopping. And so when is it enough? But then when is it not like, where is that fine line? Where is that balance? When you say, oh, I'm just going to let it come to me. But then for me, and what I'm used to is like, wait, no, I can't. But can I?
This is the illusion of the attachment to the identity of the person, the persona, which is what the word originates as. I think it means mask. Persona derives from persona, which I believe is
unmasked, baby. We gotta get that out.
Thing, right? Unmasked.
No, it's ours, but unmasked. The problem with that conversation was unmasking, and I woke up, I was like, oh, unmasked, you guys, let's talk about, let's have that conversation. It was a couple months ago, right in the middle of people, who are wearing masks. Yeah, it kind of, I was like, oh, that's a little politically incorrect, but I want to do it. Timing was time. Yeah,
so I forgot about that, because I don't pay attention.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Right.
It has a wing on it. It's an economy car. You're in your illusion. You're in a race car. This is great. So I can't. I'm an observer. I'm like, okay. So my gig is I watch it all and I translate it and back out. That's why, like you said, like some of it's funny, some of it's from the heart. Uh,
I think most of it's from the heart, because I think you are comical, you are funny, but you have this, explain to me when we say, hi, Sammy, how are you? When we say pop art, like, what's the definition of that? I know the style, but I need to understand it.
well, it's not necessarily something I studied or anything, but coming from starting obsessing about my uncle's Mad magazines in San Francisco, because the detail, the drawing, those guys were the best, amazing, the '60s and stuff. So then it gets into the stuff I was making flyers and shirts for bands in the '80s. I was a kid, and then participating, and then it becomes skateboard graphics. So I'm learning how to do these thicker lines, and okay, cool. And then I go to school. Um, so did I miss the question? What?
No, I was saying pop art, like,
I ended up with pop art because I can do fine art and whatever, make something look like a photo, and I'm like, what am I for the bank? Like, for the Hyatt? Like, I'm not. That's not my jam, you know. And I want something with a little power, a little impact, you know. And
there's a lot.
and the message, I want the message like, bam, you know, like maybe I'm impatient or working on that these days, you know. Maybe I'm impatient, but I want the message. Get the joke, man. Like it needs to be one liner. Like,
So let me ask you a question, because, and this is obviously my perception, because there's not just one liner in most of the stuff you do. There is a one come across, but then there's this, ha ha ha, and then there's what? Like that I could take that many ways. So is it sort of that passive aggressive, and these are just questions. I mean, or you literally, like, there's got to be, as an artist, and again, I'm my own artist, our minds are coming from every direction, right? So, and your emotions too. You're bringing all of you through the work behind you. And so when you see a man and a woman, and he's in a spacesuit, and you're like, I just need some space, like, haha, funny, cute, I get it, but like, you're being a passive aggressive asshole, but then also like, you're talented and creative, like that's hysterical. And she's crying, okay, you just moved your head. She's just, I mean, there's a lot in that, a lot. And you're not just saying space, you're saying like, I'm going all the way over there, putting on a suit, floating, and you're out.
you know what? I did it because when that happened, that's how much space I needed. Like all the ways. You're in France and I'm here, and you can't even let me sleep in. God bless somebody who's got the chutzpah to call you up and go, I'm inspired and I want to share it. But now if it's not good chemistry or not a good flow, or for whatever reason, that moment of time, I'm like, enough already. Maybe I just couldn't keep up with that entity. An amazing, powerful human. I was just like,
But that makes sense, because you turn around and then you create this art.
Well, I look at it through time, and I look at it through the humor, and we all relate. I've done both versions. I had a client that said, put me in the space to make the man crying, and she goes, but don't make it look like my husband, and so, because she's an empowered person, she was like, created her own airline insurance company thing, work from home, just a little badass, and so I was like, all right. So it obviously goes both ways. And the drama, the tears is just that little, because we like something, we love time with somebody, we have a great time, and then they got to do something else, and we're like, but because we just want to play.
Well, I was looking at that one next to you. It says, let's play. What does it say on top? I can't see it from here. Behind you.
I'm squinting at it. She felt his heart.
Let's play. I could take that many ways. Like, she felt his heart, being how women for the most part can go to that place and maybe get attached more quickly, and he's sort of being that testosterone guy where he's like, let's play, or is it literally just the dance between the two of them?
That's not where I'm coming from. Where I'm coming from with that, because I changed it. It was something else, and And it was too like only you, which is like this really dramatic kind of, 1920s jam song, song or whatever. But truth is, like I said before, everybody is a freedom, of course, freedom seeking individual. So the minute somebody goes, oh my God, you're great, and does this, we start to go, ooh, like just because we talked every day doesn't mean I want to talk to them. And we're afraid to say it. We're afraid
Right.
to, we want to hurt anyone. We want them to still like us. We,
We don't want
we
to
don't,
engage in the back and forth of what could be.
we don't want to. So, in the minute people start labeling, and it's normal to say, "Hey, what are we doing?" If it's soft and flowy, I've had years of mutual experiences, but here's what the true message is: can you feel my heart that all I want to do is play? Like, and that's what that is. It's like, just relax. Just, let's all just. So, because I understand the unconditional, which isn't that common, because there's insecurities that everybody has. Unconditional is the only foundation. Can you practice that in the morning and bring it to the world? It's that thing. The barista goes, "How you doing?" And I go, "You want the truth or you want the generic?"
Do you really care?
Yeah, we're getting the truth, and it might be comical and funny, so I don't hold up the line. But how you doing? I said, "Oh no, I'm out of my mind, but maybe this coffee will bring me to the next level."
I love you. I love you. And that's exactly it. I think that you said it. Do you want the truth or do you want the generic truth? Like, and it's funny because when someone like that, or in any situation when you're kind of like, oh, how are you? Do you really care, and do you really want to know? Because we can get into this.
And then here's the thing, and it's a lot of thought comes from that, obviously, but you bring real, you get real. I mean, I have a property that I manage in Santa Barbara. There's a plumbing thing. It shut down the whole water for my crew, and the neighbor's thing was flooded. So I got the neighbor manager calling me, and I'm on the phone, and I got my guys, and I'm not even anywhere near this. And I'm talking to Arizona, who owns it. And
Just drama. Yeah.
It's just real business stuff. You got to stay focused, but I can't take any of it personally. I got one guy. He's a tenant. He's a great deal. He's a complainer. One time I said, "Hey, you know what? I had enough of you. Google what a toilet handle, right?" I said, "Hey, bro, Google what a man would do in this situation." But then over time,
did you say that?
oh yeah.
Oh, Brett, you dug in. Jared says, recognize real, recognize real.
So eventually, I'm handling all this stuff, and the guy goes, I'm really tired of this." And I said, "Yeah, it is tiring, but we're handling it." Instead of my old me, which is like, "Cry, baby, you got the deal of a lifetime. Why don't you step up?" Whoa. So I don't need to defend. I need to understand.
Mm.
So this brings me to and I think I sent you the link because we shared links, right? That this guy talks about we eat comfort food to get dopamine, salt, sugar, whatever, and we know the side effects are not actually desired. We get lethargic, but we do it to get that dopamine. But we can get that from a hug. So,
Hello. Can't believe you just said that. Go.
all right, so a 30-second hug will give it to you. So when he comes to your house, right, which has been awkward lately, the world's got this thing going on where we're isolated. So people are starting to do. So here's the problem area is somebody comes to your house and you don't give them that hug. If you do, you're going to be more interested in them, in the dialogue, the conversation, the soul depth, whatever, than the plate of food. And that's your balance because you got that dopamine, that natural source, right? So now I talked to one of my friends about this because he's a mo. I said, "Hey, I'm going to give it to you this example. We walk into a place. Everyone's like, 'What's up?' I said, then you walk in after. What happens?" They go, "Hey." Okay, so
Because he walks in like that.
Got it. And I said, now here's the thing that this guy pointed out. I forget his name, but I sent you this document. He says, this is a Mother Teresa moment where you have an opportunity, because we reject when people are low. We're like, "Oh man, you need something. I don't have it together." We naturally go, "Whoa, we want high vibes, we want good vibes." but it's an opportunity. And I don't mean go hug every stranger.
I do hug strangers.
Not every stranger.
No,
so
not every stranger.
I don't want the scabies. So, so you, it's an opportunity to stop, eye contact, and say, "I see you. You're okay. You're not alone." So that's the thing that you, me, Marcus, Jared. That's what we share. We want to say, hey, we're in it together. I can't, we can. And yes, we all need time out. I need quiet time.
So that's part of this message, and for purposes of this hoodie is here on Sway because we can have this conversation, and we want to be part of that larger conversation with Amazon, and obviously it's I mean, that's kind of right part of where we're going in the future, the where we're at. So this is kind of incredible to me because we're able to speak this unspoken language of because right before we came on, I actually had this moment of hugs, and I sent Jared, and I was like, wait, should I send it to both the boys? And I sent it to Jared, and I said, I need a hug hoodie. I need it now. Can we come up with that? Because exactly that, like hug me or Eden hugs, because on that show they literally made fun of my hugging, literally spoke about it out loud, consistently. See, like Jared's like facts. See this, I got the chills. Yeah, that it was brutal and brutal. But I was like, you just need that hug. I was like, why aren't we starting that conversation? And then you come up and say that, but we have this, kind of when we do need that space to reboot, right? Sometimes it takes me a couple days because I physically get ill, and sometimes it takes me an hour. So as artistic and comical as this, how funny, the original girl's a blonde and the new girl's a pink hair.
That's not the original.
Oh. There's many versions of it. I love it. Is this the original?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so the original that we have the original here at Sway. There's all those like levels of it's art, and art is, to me, obviously it's to each their own. What are they going to bring through it? But to this, like the conversation, if you were starting this conversation, I know we've been in this conversation for, I don't know what time it is, but speak directly to wearing this piece. Like,
my intent is like, as a class captain, as the one that, the shenanigans, like it was to bring it lighthearted, like bring a little, I want to bring some light into the room. I want to, it's like, what's everybody so serious for?
I really appreciate that you just said that.
Like, you know how it is. Like emotions can take over. They can tumble you like the surf, and you're just like, whoa. And then the other day you're like, sorry. I'm like, sorry for what? Like, dude,
it's I'm not just right. And I took it right. I know where you're going with this.
And I created this quote a while back because I watched people apologize when they didn't need to, and I was like, I understand, it's cool to be mindful, but one thing was like, say sorry when you really F up. That's when. Other than that, if your body breaks down because you're working too hard, you got too many things going on, and you're overwhelmed, and you're tripping on yourself, just tell everybody, hey, I got to take time off. All I was asking was like, hey, are we doing that one? And if we're not working on the weekend, because Monday I got to deliver this, and I want to be done with the desert. I'm just trying to bullet point I'm trying to plan.
Right. And I took it with all this.
I think people like, well, I said we're going to do it, so we're going to do it Sunday, but no, you got to be like Bruce Lee, like water. Be fluid. Water will go through the cracks. Water will make it where it needs to go.
I love that. Like water.
Fluid. People need what they need. It's not this human trait where you're like, you gotta think like me, otherwise we're off track. No. And yes, we will reflect back to each other. Like, hey man, the mood swing concept came from that. I was like, we all have our swings. Why not make an actual swing? Like, so, okay, cool. Just, I want to.
I mean, we're here. We're having this conversation. Tell me the mood swing, because it sounds genius. I just haven't backtracked to hear it.
Comical translation of humanity, the human. You know, I love somebody. They need to be with themselves and go through their thing. I don't need to be there helping or fixing. I need to go. Just know you're not alone. You Marcus says to you, just we do need each other to mirror back. We also know you're going to need time, and that reminded me of the quote. To go there, that kind of lonely, dark place, isolation, I'm bad, whatever. To go there is human. To stay there is a crime. It's not true. It's like, God, you didn't give me what I needed. No. It's a story. It's a filter. It's a habitual belief based on a repeated thought. There's nothing to fix. What if I told you this? Everything's already all right. What's it look like? My friend Nick's mom says, what does it look like without any fear? Fear, the indicator that I'm not a gazelle. The lion's not coming. What's lighten up, Francis. It's like we're fine. Everybody's fine, and we remind each other. Like you pick them up along the way. Like there's no big deals except God. Your own translation, not some deity like giving babies leukemia and a parking space. Just your own translation of the energy back to your thought life is your life. I really will mention stuff and it'll show up instantly. Let me tell you, I go to a family function. My niece turns 18. She's tumbling through life, doing really well. The nephew as well. My brother is there. He's tilting back. My mom's there. The whole family is there. And I had mentioned the day before, probably in conversation with Carrie, like I need a good solid. I want some other gallery stuff. I have great gallery representation here in Palm Desert, Coda, Napa Arena, great stuff, right? So, but I'm ready to do something else in California. I need a good LA one. I got GABA in LA, but we'll see. I'm just excited about that. I want Santa Barbara. I have a house there. I want Montecito, not just Santa. So I end up talking to the one person who's not the family, who's a client, because my sister-in-law or ex-sister-in-law, whatever, the mother of the niece and nephew, who does hair, wants to talk to you, by the way, who does hair, runs her own stuff, and she has this client that she confronts us. So I'm talking to Jane Snyder. She goes, I know Eden. I used to teach Pilates. Eden had the Grove thing, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm doing this thing tomorrow. She says, my sister runs a gallery in Montecito. I said, wait a minute. Next thing you know, after talking, and I get in, I'm down to real dialogue. Everybody else was kind of like this family. Her and I were on. It was great.
Oh my!
Real life stuff, and I was all small world. And she goes, yeah. I go, so what's the names again? I'm taking notes. And she says, I'm going to introduce you. What's going up there? I said, I'll make it a point to go this weekend. I'm going to find some time. I'll figure it out. But there it is. I'll talk about Montecito a little while later. The opportunity showed up in an organic fashion. So what you think about shows up.
Right.
Don't police yourself. Oh my God, I shouldn't feel or think. Back it up. Put on a good song. I gave you that song. I'm telling you that one hits home. It talks about all of it. Like, look at the lyrics.
Well, it's going to be different now when I listen to it, so I'm excited, actually. Timing, right? It all happens for...
Build me up and break me down, whatever it takes. It's like, whatever it takes. And that's like a self-positive... I don't want to ramble.
No, I absolutely, I love it.
Thoughts are things.
And it's that idea of we've had this conversation. I don't know if you were here. Remember with Dion? I don't know if would that be here now hat. So it's a similar concept, but just to show up and be here. And it was the same sort of collective unconsciousness in oh, buddy, I have that hat. Well, I bought that hat because it says be here now and I'm really into being present, right? Well, why did you buy the hat? Oh, the conversation's opened. Oh, I want that hat. We're all in this. Oh, I'll go get that hat for you. Over sort of, very much kind of exactly what we're doing. And the being present and showing up and then letting that unfold to come to the stories and of what is and whoa, it's as if, I mean, it truly, like, no matter where we are in the world, and even here in the chat, Bruce Lee said it best: be like water. Ah, there you go. We are all truly connected by what? Thought? No. Energy? No.
What if we all were source energy? There's this thing. You wake up and tell your heart to beat.
No.
No, there's just a lightning bolt, and yours comes out. Some people are supercharged. It's like, and I have my moments where people are like, oh, man, you got a lot of energy. So I love people that offset me. They're just like, no, I'm like,
Hi.
oh,
Yeah.
I don't have to do. I know, because like I was saying when you were with your mom, or maybe it was after that. It was after that. Oh, when you kind of, I was with Marcus, just like, I think I was like, you're kind of overwhelming yourself with self-judgment, which we do. I've seen it, I've lived it, I've done it, and it's good to diffuse that concept that I got work to do. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. How about I just got? It's just starts to get softer. It's important to remember to loosen, because the ego wants to have an enemy. The ego wants to have a defense. The ego wants to have you control something. Like, well, if it's good, and it stays here. This is an agreement. Life ain't like that. It's fluid. Oh, I thought about it today like this: like, you're gonna control the weather. And trying to control the weather for you. You're gonna control the weather. That's like seasonal. Like, the weather changes, the clouds
And
move,
it's kind of exciting, right? You wake up and you're like, what's the weather today? Oh, I can wear a sweater, or I could wear my jean shorts, or I could, wear, right. It's sort of very unplanned.
And at the same time, energy is everything. So, like, I when I first got with Arena out of I was sitting in my gallery going, I don't want to do this anymore. She has a huge gallery, and she was at my show previous with my friend who's like a musician. I thought I wanted to work with my. So I need help. I need a gallery manager again. And she goes, I don't know anybody. I said, do me one favor. She was resistant, and I was. Do me a favor. Keep your mind open. It's okay. Call me the next day at 7:30. I got this lady coming down from Napa, and she comes over. She was like right there, and she was great. And she says, I think you should be in my gallery up there. I said, okay, great. So I wanted to not do it. I wanted somebody else to do it. Anyway, I manifested it with passion of the contrast I was in. I did not enjoy the contrast I was in. I did not want to carry the note, do all the dance. I gave myself a desk job. I don't want a desk job again. But it was me paying my dues. It was me learning humbly. I will give a gallery 50%. Now I know what it is.
I like that. I manifested it from or
we can say the contrast is a suffering point, or it's just life. Like, oh, things aren't exactly how I want them. What do I gotta? What can I shift? Oh, I gotta loosen the grip. I gotta be present. I gotta be mindful. I gotta go back to unconditional, starting with myself. Like you said, wake up. How do I get it back into the simple joy of being alive? What do I read?
What do I read? I was literally like, I want him to check back in with those books for some reason. But question. What does it all come down to? Like, what is it all? Someone asked me that, and I think it was the day you were listening when you came with Papa's Get On With It art, right? Didn't it, at the end, it was sort of like, well, what do you think this all comes down to? Like, and I hear you saying it, so I'm just sort of, what is it to you? Because obviously we physically won't be here anymore at some point. We come across certain people, or just our whole experiences. We have the the possibilities of changing our lives and other people's lives with just you're right, a single shift of our thoughts can actually make a difference in the moment that will change the rest of our lives. But at the end of the day, and anyone in the chat feel free to chime in, what is this all about? Like, what?
He says, maybe you have to turn your mic.
What?
Instagram is feedback. What's it all about? It's about what's it all about? A few things. We decided to sign up for an experience, the human experience. People complain about their parents, but we chose our parents. There's one. We're gonna ride with that. We chose to be down and join people that would hang out with these children. Doubt me, but dig into it. You'll find out that this is true. Like, have a resistance to that concept. Dig into Brian Weiss, Real Lives, Masters, why that book? He was like, I keep getting this message from somebody who's under hypnosis, and I don't want to out my career for it. I'm very scientific. Well, it just so happens we've taken this journey and we come back to do the ride. And how do we enjoy the ride? We let the hard times teach us. Motivated by pain, right? I'm not going to live better if I can get away with running stop signs. I'm going to get a ticket. Push that off. We might get hurt. I don't need that kind of attention. What do I need to do? I want to give. Okay, you want to give. That's just, what's your action? What's your vibration? Where you're at. If you hit somebody up and they don't hit you back, are you offended? Why? We didn't used to be. Remember, we were kids when there wasn't even answering. Remember, that was new. It was like, we were the only ones on the block that had one for a while. And then we had a video camera and nobody had a video camera. It's like, someday I'll tell you the whole story. Like, how do we live in a double wide? We own an airplane. What? But anyway, the impulsivity of the modern world, there's a beauty to it. Look at, we're zooming, right? It's cool. You can click and buy. You don't have to get out toxic. How wonderful that everybody gets to work. People go, well, Amazon's so big. I go, think about how many people they employ. It's all good. It's all good. Why? Because I said so. Lighten up. So real quick, it's about love, and love is play. It's not holding. It's not, it's caressing, that kind of hold. But we want to play with the world of form. That's like Eckhart Tolle, or however you say his name. Play with the world of form. It's okay. Be playful. Remember, you're getting everybody. I got all these guys, and then everybody's wanting the thing, and it's like, no. Hey, man, if you need rest, take rest. Just say, I'll talk to you in 2 days about it, or I don't know, or I'll send you an email because I can't communicate right now. I got kids and a dog and a cat and my phone and this, and just speak your truth. We're all safe here. We're all in it together. And if you can't speak your truth, then it's my job as a friend to go, well, something's up. We'll just wait it out. I got plenty to do. Like I said, people think I'm an artist. I'm managing multiple property tenants. It's my side gig that handles this.
There's art in that.
Hustle, man. I got hustle, and it's been going on for 20-something years. I have these relationships. I'll put it this way. I house people. There's 7 in 3 places. So my hustle has provided good deals for people to get a leg up. So I gotta manage that.
That's an art form in itself. That's the coming from the you just look like you're exhausted, but that's coming from that space of when I say what's it all about, and you came from different angles, but again, it is that love, it is that action. And if I like you tell me we're using it, it's funny, I went on a hike and my girlfriend's like, you know what, I don't want to say this to you coming from my doctor, because she's a therapist, but I'm gonna say this from a friend. She's like, lighten up, lighten that up. And I was like, whoa, Oh, thank you. So like you manage this, you got to run it, you got to do that, but you're really housing, you're really loving, you're giving them a foot up, like you just said, you're helping them out. So like, that's amazing. Lighten up. That's incredible.
You reminded me today. You're like, you're such a leader, and I was like, what? I had resistance. Like, I'm just, oh yeah, yeah, true.
See, we're here as like reflections of that love that we all want and what?
I don't know how you saw that in me. I was like, what? And I forgot. Like take the lead gently. Take the lead with some like. I mean, I had tenants. I had a huge studio at my space that I did not rent out. A big spot. It was really personal. Got Liza Minnelli's chandelier and all this weird stuff in it, right? So I might have used it. And like, I don't want to go backwards and use it, but not just anyone can go in that spot. And I come back one time and they had rented it out. And I go, whoa. They thought I was going to be upset. And I just said, okay, so this has got to stop. You're gone in 2 weeks? Okay, great. And you start to pay me, and then what did you do with the other money? And they're like, wow, you handled this really well. And I was like, I've dealt with real things.
Yeah.
A lot of people go to what I consider too young.
Go too young. Come closer to your mic, because I just.
Die. I've had a.
Thank you. Die. Sorry, I didn't hear that word. Yes, I know you have. Yes.
Like you're, 38 and 29 and 31, and come out of one funeral in Montecito. My friend Jason, an amazing person, and pick up the phone, and my friend Harold in New York had OD'd.
So this leads to because I know we can go down that path, but I'm going to keep it in that love space. Like let's play. Life is way too precious and you know it oh so well, and we do. Yeah, and then coming from, say it again.
That momentum, that negative self-harm momentum is at a tender spot. It's like whoa. Trust me, like feel this, that we can do whatever we put our minds to. Like, oh God, you're okay, you're not really okay. Everyone's childhood was rocky. Like okay, so back to you, knowing you, like I know you. I don't want to see the edited drama version of some show. I heckled you the other day. At least I'm not a meme, but
I use that meme, okay? I think it's funny, right?
But knowing you, watching you like fire off on somebody, must see now that's raw, real passion, and then you're also you're all hearts. You're like, hey, it is what it is. Like you said about your family, guys, don't take sides. It's all fun, right? Well, let it be a moment.
Right.
Let it be a moment. So.
That's it. You say let it be a moment. I love that because for some reason it takes me to like, life is a series of memories and moments, right? So like just let it be that, and then there's the next one, right? And then there's the next one, and I guess this is coming from that place of these two teens, and one of them's really struggling, and like everything is so serious, and like the passion and the anger and you can't even get a thought that's not hers in, Whoo! And I just, Eden, this too shall pass. And just let it be a moment. I love that.
And how hard is it for, you're a parent, how hard is it to not want to do something?
Oh, I tried. And that gets shut down immediately. So
people don't need us to do anything. We think, well, let me, because I've built, I'll rebuild a car and rebuild things. So I think, well, what do you need? I'll do it. That's not it.
Right.
You know what people need? Kids need time. They need your time and your presence. And people that you love sometimes they need your time and your presence. They need to feel that you're just like, I get it.
And I was questioning that actually because I feel like I can be good with that, but obviously we can have this out of self and self-stuff conversation, this intellectual sort of conversation that exists out here. But so I tried to go there with a 16-year-old and those emotions, and I really tried to go there. Whoa! Don't ever try it.
Are you going to bring your life experience into this moment? No. the motive is genuine. It's like, hey, love, look, we can just da, 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 da. What are you gonna do? Get a 16-year-old to like meditate and journal? No, they want to punch a wall.
That she's like, oh, I could rip her to this hair. I'm like, whoa, calm the energy. And then I start, well, we as people, and the brain, like, what are you talking about? Like, well, it's psychology. First experience with that, tried to go back to my 16-year-old self. Okay, I only know what I know, right? I even brought that in, like, right? We only know what we know. She's like, what do you mean? I should have called you, to be honest. Whew. And I released, and I didn't engage, and I let it be. I let it be. I was very proud.
The intent is from the heart, but I heard a great thing the other day. It's like, do you think you agree with somebody if you go like this? The guy goes, don't shake your head if you agree. Don't shake your head if you disagree. He goes, just be the last one to speak. Hard for us, right? We want to share what we know because we're like, oh my God, I found a gem, like we said earlier. So better to actively listen. What's active listening like? It's like reflecting back. Oh, I see that I'll just do it with you. You wore yourself out thinking you had to perform, that you had to always be on. That's not true. Nobody's always on. You think that maybe people, now that you've opened up that, there's a little bit of vulnerability. What do I do with that? Well, that's when what do you call it? The bodyguards come out, the ego bodyguards. That's what I talked about outside with my auntie today. I go, that big dumb bully bodyguard that won't let your dad in because of how he used to be, telling your dad that your dad was. I go, your dad still loves you, and now that he's got it together, he wants to come in. You're in a lonely place because you got that ego bodyguard. That's kind of what Marcus said.
I was gonna say, Marcus sort of took those guys by the neck and was like, "You're out, and you're out, and you're out." And then I'm like, "What?
We need time to reset. We need time to recenter. We need time to chill out and process art, and then realize, oh, what am I doing? I'm not. Oh, I didn't eat enough, or I ate the wrong thing. Okay, so we need time. I'll need time, autonomy, sense of freedom, constantly, and then to exercise a little bit of peace. But too much is isolation,
Right.
and we also need one another to mirror. And it's hard. We develop a language. We develop a new language. Say, I feel like you're coming at me. And then I'm not, as a friend, or somebody says like, hey, I really just need to think, oh, well, I didn't know. Because yesterday we were stoked. But what are you today? I don't know. And you're allowed, people have different experiences. And somewhere in all of this, we're talking about balancing it out.
Right.
We wouldn't know the light without the dark.
Right.
Like, this isn't where I started.
I was just gonna say, you pointed backwards, meaning your art, or you were sort of, yes, because we came here today to talk about, actually, you and I, of course, would flow into anything, but literally like the art behind you, and yet look at where we go into like I don't know that I would call it a human condition, what we do. Or I think back in the day we might have been the people who sit under the tree and philosophize about all the ideas or what could be or should be or want to be or whatever,
Soapbox.
The soapbox?
We need the crowd.
Oh, they would come, for sure. Because we'd be healing people. And then Marcus would shut up and he'd be like, throwing the word out and on them. And then Jared would be over here holding the meetings of this people. And then she'd be, doing the voice. Lou would be voice singing. I mean, it's just, this is like how it must have, whoa, this is how it happened. What?
Michelle.
Say it again?
Don't forget Michelle.
Oh, well, Michelle would be, I love you, Michelle. Brett needs to speak up. His voice is too soft. I agree, Tanya. Come in and speak up. I had a feeling that was from the chat. Thank you, Tanya, because it was getting a little soft for me, too. But that's so interesting because this is how they would happen. And yes, Michelle would be holding court over there and sitting peacefully and sort of, maybe at that time there wasn't as much mindfulness, but in our group there would have been sort of this, what would we call it? Like this
vibrancy.
Yeah, she's in the energy, but she does sort of do this like this I guess what I'm saying, like the tribe in itself, which is all of us, and when other tribe members show up, and how we all sort of resonate to one another, and how it grows and gets bigger. For some reason I'm having this. Maybe I'm in two different time zones at the same time right now, because I'm literally sitting way back when. Oh my God! Don't think you're getting away. Hold on. Please get over here. Oh yeah, it's happening. Brett, you stay right there. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Brett. Hold on. Get over here. Yep. This is what happens when Shay J is in the house. That's Brett.
Hi, Brett. How are you?
Have you met Shay J? This is Shay J. She is a... Well, we work together, but what we do when Shay J shows up and I'm here...
Oh,
listen to this.
She says, listen to this. I'm like silent.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh, guys. I feel like my sinuses are acting up, but you know what? Let's pull it out of my butt. Let's just do this. We're gonna.
Ready?
Okay. Let's see. What do you think? What are you feeling?
All
of this.
You're.
So, I'm a triple threat artist. I sing, I dance, I act, I host. Right now, I'm training with Stevie Mackey. I'm doing vocal training, and Anthony Bendel for acting training and stunt training. I just did yesterday, so that was pretty cool. Eden likes to hear me sing, guys.
It's magical. It's magical. And Louise and Lou,
Is Lou here?
And Brett's cut. Look, see what's happening in the tribe.
Oh my gosh. Let's see here.
Whatever you're feeling, right?
Yes, whatever you're feeling.
Right, feeling.
I know I'm feeling "Kiss Me," but I haven't heard that song in a long time, so I feel like I'm dying here a little bit. You caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie.
Doesn't matter. We can just sit and
we can just
do.
sit.
So as it comes to you, just do it. So Brett is an artist and many more things,
Oh
and we've
my
been having
gosh.
the most incredible conversation. But do you see his work?
I love it.
Shay J's in the house.
Oh my gosh.
But look move your head. Yeah, see, she's crying, and he's
Oh.
like, I just need some space. And where that comes from is quite comical. But
You know what's so funny is I
Tell
literally just walked out of a conversation. That's why I'm kind of sniffly. I was blaming it on sinuses, but that literally just happened to me.
Yes.
So that cracks me up. Oh my gosh.
That's funny. Well, guess what? This is the hoodie. You know how we're doing the hoodies. So I'm going to actually get that for you.
Oh my God.
That artwork is on our
I love it.
hoodie, and you get to start that conversation. But what does it mean to you? See, here we go. She could see. I would be walking down the street. I would be wearing your hoodie, and she would say, "Oh my God, that just happened to me in the car." Obviously, this is touching and pulling her heartstrings.
Yeah.
But if you were looking at me, I was like, "Hi," and you'd say, What's that hoodie? Where'd you get it?"
Where'd you get it? Yeah, I love that. That is so cool. I feel like it could have different meanings.
Right.
But for me, I think there's multiple meanings within that. I feel like from a male's perspective and a female's perspective. I wish I could hear Brett. I
Here,
can't
please.
hear
I've been talking to him.
Brett. Okay. Hi, Brett.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear the perspectives.
Perspectives, I would feel like, I guess, female perspective, she's not getting what she needs, so she's emotional about it, and she's trying to speak to the man, and he's like, I just need space. That's more literal, I feel like. And then I feel like from a male's perspective, they need space to feel the closeness and the connection. So it's like the two opposites almost.
Wow.
If that makes sense. Because I feel like sometimes men feel more when the woman's distant, but the woman feels more when the man is closer. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Essentially. It's kind of a mind game.
No,
Right?
isn't it all?
Yeah, that's
See?
true.
See? I love.
Can we just call it a dance and not a mind game?
Yeah, you're right. It's a dance.
Dance.
It really
Nature.
is. It's it's a dance of nature. Because it's like when the woman pulls away, the man's like, oh no, but where are you going? I like the chase.
That hunter-gatherer.
The hunter-gatherer. But then the woman's like,
Women like to chase too, don't you fool yourself.
you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. That's very true.
I have to
Very
keep
true.
it. Like your jacket is relative. Like it was a perfectly good jacket when you left the house, but the wolves are coming after you. And you made it. Okay, you made it, but you survived.
Yeah, it's so true. I love that. That's the perfect analogy.
I didn't hear it, but I can only imagine because he's quite incredible, and as are you.
I love you.
And your interpretation of that piece as is every human looking at the art form and where his actual
What did it mean for you when you were drawing it? Yeah, and painting.
It was a reaction. It was like I got some space. I was feeling it, and I got a phone call way too early in the morning about what I should be doing. And I'm going to send you pictures, and you should be painting these astronauts. And I was like, it's too early to be told what I should do. Whether she's right or not, I was like, I don't want to hear it. And I was like, I'll draw an astronaut. This astronaut needs some space. I was like, and everybody relates. It goes both ways. Everybody needs personal sense of freedom and autonomy in space. Everybody needs to be able to feel safe in themselves in order to even be available to hang out with anybody else.
Yes, very true. Very
That
true.
was- It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
You know, and learning to read the person you're hanging out with and go, okay, I need some time. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Independence is key for a healthy relationship. Yeah. Learned that very young, actually.
No,
that's
no hurries, no worries.
What'd you say, Brett?
No hurries, no worries.
Exactly, exactly. I love that. And what's the other ones behind you? I love that one. The pink hair and orange hair one. That's cool. What does that say?
there's a
Oh, what will I do without him? Call your sponsor. I love it.
you could today just say just Bumble.
No, please don't. We got to get rid of that.
I know, right? I think that Brett, you asked Shay J what I always ask her when she shows up and I'm sitting on the couch. Say, Shay J, will you sing for me?
Will you sing for me?
Yes. Okay, deal. I guess I will. I'm just stumped on what I should sing, guys. I actually just had to mimic 6 songs last night for my online course. So let's see what's. I might mess up some lyrics, but whatever.
Don't worry.
Okay. Don't worry. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life. You and I've been waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird fly, yeah. Blackbird fly. I'm just gonna stop there because I feel like I don't know the words.
Do you see she lights me up every time, and I'm so grateful.
Oh, you're the best.
So grateful.
You brought my mood up. I love you.
That's what we're here to do, right?
Thank you.
That's what we're here to
You're
just
right.
just say that's exactly it. Like together we can. And when I see Tanya, wow, Jared on fire.
Thanks, guys.
This voice, guys, it brings. That's why I ask you, and I don't want to cry because every time I'm on this couch, I've been crying lately. You bring me up.
Oh.
Your voice, and I think you know this inside of you somewhere because you have the capacity to change myself, to change my thoughts, and I was enjoying him immensely, and then I was like, oh, she's here, and I wanted to share it with the world. So
love you.
I think this is.
You pumped me up because I literally walked in and I knew she was gonna ask me to sing you guys, and I kind of low key was trying to tiptoe.
She's hiding. I saw. I felt it.
Because I was just crying. I'm not gonna lie. I was just crying before I walked in. So I was like, I can't sing right now. But I just did a little bit.
You did a lot of it. That touched my heart.
Thank you.
And that song has been coming in a lot lately because it was, from ex's time to the mom and I are very close, and she brings it and she sings it. I'm like, whoa, what is this? Maybe we have to talk about that. What does that mean? You know? Yeah. What does that mean? So I think that we're gonna do this connection, and you guys will meet through,
I would love that.
the ways of the world.
Yes.
Because artists are like that.
They just go
And
hand in hand.
I love you.
I love
Thank you
you.
for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for chatting with me too and just rolling with the punches.
That's how we do it, right? We just show up and it happens.
Freestyle.
Yeah, freestyle, 100%.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love you.
I love you. Okay.
She's Shay J's on next, guys. So
I'm on
stay
next.
when I close up here. See, the
Love
tears
you.
were just an expression of whatever it is that you thought you were really dealing with.
Yeah.
The truth just came out.
It's
your
true.
voice, your
Now you
power,
guys
your
all know.
strength. You changed me. You changed Jim. You changed them.
Thanks,
Like,
guys.
good on knowing. I cry in front of the world. You know that. Like you let it out.
I'm letting it out.
Yeah.
I love you. Thank you. Mwah.
I love
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Love you.
I love you.
That tan. Whew, thank you. That was just so, every time she comes in, I have to do that. And it also is like, what? Tell me.
I was just laughing at myself because I'm like, I didn't make you cry today. But the other
No, I'm glad you had a few moments. And she almost had that moment. And it's just magical. I mean, it really is.
I had a goal.
No, because my goal, and I will wrap this up in a moment, that my goal here was, I said, because, and you keep saying, let's play. So yesterday, I was in my bathroom and I said, and I think I voice texted you, and I was like, you know what? It was so powerful and so deep, and the tears and the emotion came out, and even my mom and some friends and everyone was worried. I said, like, you guys, don't be worried. That was like an expression and a release and cathartic, and it was actually joy. I mean, you know this, but certain people were worried. And so I was like, right, you bring out a certain like freedom and light, so let's take it there even more. Like, let's go there, you know? And we could do this for hours and sort of drop things. Because we didn't go down one road, you know? We took the roads. And I mean, if there's, so two things I want to leave with. If there's one thing that you want to leave us with, and then if there's one thing that you want to ask of us, those that are with us in the chat and those that are on Instagram, like what, that sort of flow, that give, that receive. What do you want to leave us with, and what do you want to take from us with you or ask of us to give back, whatever that looks like or feels like?
I'm constantly reminded through awareness that is strengthened through active listening, right? Energetically checking myself and hearing that that it's important that we know that the proper way to love self and then outwardly is, and that's what it's about.
Make sure you speak, yeah.
To really love is to give, and that's what it's about. So I'll make something for you because I think and then it spiraled into us making a bunch of stuff that you wanted to make. I had this other idea. I said, well, we'll knock that out.
We're making.
We're having fun. We're getting it done, and I like that energy. I like to co-create stuff, and so there's that. And it's like, how do I? This is where we need to ask ourselves: how do I apply compassion instead of comparison? Compassion without expectations. I want to be understood, so I want to give off understanding. So I shoot it out, it comes back. You know what I mean? Like, no worries, no hurries. Like, vibe up. Like, literally the other day, it was show up. I'm not going to hide out because everybody's a certain way. Show up, vibe up, and then follow up. It's not expectations. It's just like, hey man, I'm reaching out, and then you take your time getting involved. We're all just living.
Right.
And we can look, and we're at the crossroad. Is it good? Is it bad? How do you want to label it? Life's good, magic. I got a little phone thing that everybody's on their phone, or my phone thing has Muji on it, and wherever I'm walking, I can hear an inspired, wise, softening rip. So we're good. Like, go with the flow. Like, we're in it together. Or I want to leave you with a whole plethora of little tidbits.
You have.
Here's what it is. It's already all right.
It's already all right. It's already all right. But before you say that, it's interesting because the 3 men that I've had in the last, besides my mother, four couch sessions, one, lead with love. Love, that unconditional love. It's about giving. Marcus is all love. Like, whoa, lucky me. This is what, whoa. Obviously, I'm giving because that's what I'm receiving. And that's magical, and that's what I choose to share. And all of you are that. Lead with love, give. It's the same message across the board. That just shows me that there is hope for humanity. There is this collective unconscious that is leading with love, and then asking out, what does that look like? What do I need? What do you need? You need us to do that. I'm in. And I'm grateful that you took a couple hours out of your day to chat with me, but also it's the, what is this, that resonance, the vibe that we're giving out, because you're talking to me and it's out, it's going out, and you fill me up. And Shay J sits for a minute and sings, and she fills me up, and it's going out, and he gets it, and she gets it, and they get it, and she knows you now, and he knows, you know what I mean? And then, whoa, we're all leading with love, and it's like, what are we gonna do?
We're getting the band back together.